Two films shot back in the 70s and believed to have been lost during Hurricane Katrina will be shown at the Britannia Theater this week, the one on Britannia, so-called. So-called.
Not hard to
Well, there's
find.
two. No, there's one down in Canal Place
Well,
now.
that's true. That's absolutely
just
true.
making sure. These are so-called gumbo westerns, Yellow Fever and $8.50 a Barrel. And they're also being featured at the New Orleans Film Festival, which is going on right now at the Britannia. This morning we're being joined by filmmaker, director, writer. Is there anything you don't do in film?
You know,
Glen Pitre.
I sweep the set at the end of the day.
There you go. And I met you back in the mid-'80s when you were doing Bellazzar the Cajun.
Right.
Which was, you had some big actors in that one.
We had some big, that was the one that sort of launched me on a career that took me all over the world.
But the two films we're talking about are the ones that launched Bellazzar the Cajun.
They're entirely in Cajun French, so we subtitle them in English so you can follow along.
And do you speak Cajun French?
Oh, I grew up with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up speaking it.
And
down by Lafourche.
Oh, there you go. I forgot about that. What was the impetus behind these movies? Because you wrote and directed these, didn't you?
I wrote and directed these, and they were stories from down the bayou. And I came up on the big Hollywood movies like everything else, but at some point, like everybody else, but at some point, started seeing these more independent films and European films and go, well, yeah, you can make movies that are a little smaller in scale and not necessarily in English.
And how hard was it to do a film back then? Because it's a low budget film,
right?
And you're shooting actually on film, not digital like they do now.
Oh yeah, no, it was. You were shooting, and you don't even see what you're shooting until like a week later when it comes back from the lab. So you gotta have
because you didn't have the video cameras they have now to watch.
No. So the technology was a lot more primitive, but on the other hand, you could concentrate on the performances, on the actors, on the setting, on the decor. Because both of these films are recreating. One's set in 1897, that's One Place Tomorrow, and the one that plays this evening is set in 1938. So you're recreating the past with period boats and vintage cars and wardrobe and doing it for a nickel.
I kind of like what they call them gumbo westerns as opposed to the spaghetti westerns that we know with Clint Eastwood. Yeah. Is that what you were going for?
Well, it's not me who came up with that term.
Got it.
But yeah, in a way they were that. They were a little bit of storytelling and very much of their place and time.
And now do you look back at those now, so many years later, and why do you, and go, gee, I could have done this better, or that was magnificent.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it was the beginning of my career, and now I don't want to say I'm at the end of my career, but later stages certainly. And on one hand, you see what you could have done better, but on the other hand, to make movies, you have to hold on to innocence, because you're like taking something in your head and gathering 150 or 200 people and putting it on the screen for the world to see. And
you're putting your creativity out there for everyone to see.
That takes a huge leap of faith. And when you're getting started, you have that innocence, you believe anything is possible. My wife and I were sitting down as we're putting the subtitles anew on this thing, and she's going, how do you talk all these people into this?
But you did.
Somehow it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, both those films are available to stream online if you don't make it to the Britannia and the French Film Festival.
6 o'clock tonight.
There you go. We posted a link on our website, wwltv.com. At the Britannia, it's 6 o'clock tonight, though, right?
At 6 o'clock tonight, and again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Okay. All right. Let's get over to Peyton now.